it is said that there is only one God. As Swami Ramatirtha said, if you see anything other than God, then that is an illusion. What a fantastic statement. And all of us are saying something other than God. We are not saying God. So how does this happen? Let's take a look at science. When you pass a ray of light, white light, through a prism, as you can see here in the picture, the prism refracts the white light into 7 distinct colors. So, you see plurality, you don't see unity, you don't see the oneness. Similarly, what they say is, why is it, this is the explanation that they give of why is it that we see plurality, we see differences, we see demarcations in the world. This is because that one Brahman is operating through the prism of the body, mind and intellect. So when that one Brahman functions through the body, mind and intellect, it creates plurality, it creates diversity, it creates many, many different denominations and divisions that we see in the world. So, when you turn spiritual, what happens is, the first stage is to move from plurality to duality. And there are 2 ways of doing it. Through Jnana Yoga, through the path of knowledge, you train your intellect to X-ray through the differences and see that one totality everywhere. So there is the you, the individual, perceiving the homogeneity in the world. For a Bhakta, it is the devotee seeing God everywhere. Even though he sees differences, even though he sees demarcations, even though he sees different species, different individuals, he only sees them as manifestations of that one God. So it's like when Rukmini asked Lord Krishna, she was feeling hurt that I am your wife and yet you are going around all over the world with dancing with the gopis, with all kinds of people. So Rukmini says, Krishna tells Rukmini, says, have you ever seen what I see? Yes, I go around. But have you seen what I see? And he lends her the vision. And then she finds out that wherever he goes, whatever he does, he sees only Rukmini everywhere. And then she is appeased. So this is it. A bhakta sees different individuals, sees a terrorist, sees a selfish person, sees a vicious person, sees a divine person. But it doesn't matter to the bhakta because as far as the bhakta is concerned, he is only seeing what? The Lord. And that's a wonderful state to be in. With this combination of jnana and bhakti, with these 2 different viewpoints, you are able to remove that last trace of duality and gain that unity. You become one with the Lord. And so, we need to experience that power of one, the power of oneness. You have a choice, as no other creature in the world has this choice. We as human beings have the choice of seeing differences or seeing oneness. And what you see, how you exercise this choice is what results in your living a life of mundane, routine, mechanical existence, boring existence, which results in an ordinary mortal. Or in and through the same experiences, are you able to see that oneness and that transforms your entire life from a mundane, routine, mechanical existence to an exhilarating, inspiring view of life, which is the power of one. So let's see what happens when you exercise this choice correctly or towards the oneness rather than the diversity. The first thing that happens is love confers power. Gandhiji had love for all Indians irrespective of the denomination or demarcation or the community that they came from, and this is what gave him the power. When they were bitterly fighting against each other, and Gandhiji went on the scene, and mind you, he had no security guards with AK-47 guns. He just went unarmed, alone, and the warring factions came together. This is the power of one. This is the power that is inherent in you, but you're not using it because you see differences. Wherever, you see, when you're dealing with, I hope you're not, but if you are dealing with people like alcoholics, drug addicts, people who have led themselves to a suicidal pathway, it's very difficult to come out of it. But the power of love helps you and helps the other individual to overcome the greatest of odds and emerge successful. Therefore, it is that you need to love. Krishna tells Arjuna, throughout the Gita he tells Arjuna, by all means kill people who are wicked, who are vicious. And when it is your duty to deal with them, you deal with them in the manner possible. But don't do it with hatred. Kill them, but with love. What an incredible philosophy. I mean, please don't misunderstand it. Don't go around killing people. What he means is, sometimes you're dealing with vicious people. You have to deal with all kinds of people. But you have to understand that people behave according to their nature. They are helpless victims of their own nature. So when you understand that, you don't hate them. But at the same time, you need to deal with them. You can't allow a terrorist to take over the country. You can't allow vicious people to operate without any hindrance. So you have to do what you need to do, but do it without hatred. What a wonderful message that is. And to understand this power of oneness, to understand the power of love, is what we are meeting here, this fantastic opportunity we have to avail of the wisdom of this incredible philosophy. But then you talk to people anywhere, they have no time. Imagine having no time to avail of the best that there is in the world. Then what do you have time for is the question. To destroy yourself? So, in the movie Life is Beautiful, a young man and his 4-year-old son were taken and thrown into a concentration camp on the child's 4th birthday. And how this man managed to protect the son from the evils of the concentration camp just by the power of love. The power of that oneness. No hatred. He did not allow the son to engender any hatred towards the people who were torturing them. Next, love unites. In this country, we have a fascinating scenario of where every 30, 40 miles you go, kilometers you go, people change, the language changes, the food changes, the dress changes, the dialect changes, the lifestyle changes, everything changes. Yet we are one country because of this love that pervades. And we need to make an effort to establish that love. No, but you don't do that. The moment you meet another person, where do you come from? What language do you speak? What community do you belong to? Finished, it's gone. You don't see an Indian. You see a Bengali and a Punjabi and a South Indian. But the beauty of our life is, the other day when the flight landed in Delhi, it was so beautiful to see people take out their cell phones and each one was speaking in a different language. And yet we're all Indians. Suddenly you heard a sweet Bengali being spoken. And then you heard Tamil being spoken, and then Telugu being spoken. And then you understand the beauty of our culture is this diversity. The ability to x-ray through the differences and see that one. And once we are a united country, we become a strong country, a strong culture. Next is that love builds teams. Each one of us is crippled because of this sense of otherness, hatred. You don't understand it. The moment you shed a little bit of that hatred, what a relief it gives. In prison with hardened criminals, you talk to them about oneness, you talk to them about love, they're able to get together and work and achieve outstanding results. If this is what prisoners can do, what can't you and I do? Try it. You've led a life of hatred and separateness all your life. Try something different. You know what the results are. You're agitated, you're disturbed, you're stressed out. Is this the life of a human being? Try something different. Experiment. The next time the sense of separateness comes, the next time you feel disgust towards somebody, stop yourself, change it, and see what a fantastic result it leads to. So, next is love protects you. Not the other person's love. When you love other people, irrespective of what they feel towards you. Like Prahlada. Prahlada had immense love and devotion for his father. The father was plotting to kill him, but Prahlada never felt insecure. And it protected him. The forces of nature, the laws of nature, fire lost its power against Prahlada's love. Snakes lost their venom when they were faced with Prahlada. If this can happen to a child, again, what amount of security and protection we'll experience. But no, that each one of us is insecure, fearful. Oh, what will happen to me? What will happen? The worst has already happened. And because we are plagued with fear and insecurity, we don't do what we ought to do. So, no, a person who has love does not experience fear and insecurity. Most importantly, love brings success in management schools, in corporate organizations, in governments, everywhere. You find this sense of separateness. So much energy and vitality is lost because of this bickering that goes on, the backbiting that goes on, the kind of plotting and scheming that goes on against each other. Same energy if you use to work together, what amount of success you'll achieve. Mahatma Gandhi had said, when I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of love and truth has won. There have been tyrants and dictators, and for a time they seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall. Remember that. So if you want to be successful in life, remove the hatred from your hearts. That's the message of the Gita. That's the message of the 12th chapter of the Gita. And more, again, it is only when you love that you can be happy. Dispel the thought. It's a myth to believe that I will hate people and be happy. It's a myth to believe that I can speak ill about people and be happy. So if you want to be happy, remove ill feelings from your mind, and you will be the greatest beneficiary of that love. Never mind what happens or does not happen to others, but you will be a happy, content person. Mirabai was given a cup of poison by her own husband. but never did she engender hatred, and therefore the poison did not kill her. The poison that kills us is the poison that we ourselves generate in our own hearts of hatred and bitterness and frustration. Most importantly, when you cultivate this love for all beings, you rise above desire, you rise above ego, you evolve spiritually. So, now where do we begin? You begin where your hatred is maximum. If you really want to apply Bhakti Yoga in your life, go back home and think very hard and pick on the one person that you hate most. That's not difficult. Because it's the person that you hate most who's occupying your mind all the time. And try and convert that to understanding, not love. You know, because you tell a person who hates her mother-in-law, love your mother-in-law, she can't do it. But bit by bit, they say, when you tell her, or if you hate your mother-in-law, tell yourself, I think she's a vicious person. I think she's the worst specimen of humanity. Okay, fine, we accept it. But why are you suffering for it? When you hate her, you are the person who's suffering. So, that determination must come that whatever I achieve or don't achieve in my lifetime, I must overcome this hatred for my mother-in-law. Now, you might say, I don't hate my mother-in-law because I don't have one. That's the only, there are only two kinds of people. People who hate the mother-in-law, people who don't hate. People who don't hate the mother-in-law are only people who don't have mother-in-law. So, if you don't have a mother-in-law, then that hatred shifts. See, you don't understand. It's not the mother-in-law, it's the hatred within you. So, you pick on the weakest link, which is the mother-in-law. If you don't happen to have a mother-in-law, it shifts to something else. Neighbor, boss in the office, or sometimes husband also. Try and change it, and immediately your spiritual level goes up a few notches. You may sit here and study the Gita backwards and forwards, nothing will happen. Go home and deal with your mother-in-law, instantly it will go up. Spiritual level. Right? So now we move with verse 10.